Hi everyone, my name is Williams Anaka and I'm an airline pilot. My flight record, I've been able to amass about 1,200 hours, total flight time hours. Well, I've been flying for about, officially, with an airline for about a year, 5 months thereabout. Unofficially, I got done with my flight school 2014, but I just recently got a job with an airline about 1.5 years ago. Growing up, I always felt that pilots are mostly white guys. You know why? Because in the movies I watch, I see a lot of white pilots. And you watch Nigerian movies, the only thing you see is, nah, your food is ready, there's no pilot in them. And I schooled in Jos, and then we had a lot of aircraft coming in. There was military airports around there. I was like, this stuff looks really interesting. Like, it felt like magic, like white magic, not really black magic. Like, what these guys are doing, I really want to do it too. Then I've never been in an aircraft. I've not really seen an aircraft besides what you see in movies. I don't even know any pilots. Then Instagram was not really as it was today. So I just told myself that I want to do that. I want to be a pilot. I don't know how it will happen. I don't know what school, whether Unijos or Footsmina, if they studied piloting, they had no idea. I just knew that this piloting, Dolene will get it. The first time actually being in an aircraft was the day I was going to South Africa for my flight training. That was the first time I actually entered the aircraft for the first time, and trust me, I was just all smiling, looking at the seats, looking at everything, really amazing. So I was like, so this is what I want to go and do. This guy, you get mine though. When I go to flight school, I don't know if they do that in every flight school, but my own flight school, what they do is that once you settle in, they give you your books, they introduce you to what you call your instructor. So your instructor is like the guy that puts you through your flying lessons. So he teaches you both ground school and the flying experience and stuff like that. So he flies with you in the cockpit together. So after that, after they give me my books and they assigned me to the guy, the first thing they did was what they call an introduction flight. So an introduction flight, you just sit inside the cockpit as a passenger, because it's more like a 4-seater aircraft. So you have your instructor on the right hand side, and you on the left hand side, something like that. So you just sit on the left hand side. The instructor was flying the aircraft, showing me around the Johannesburg. I was schooled in South Africa. Showing me around Johannesburg. Was doing some kind of stunt. He was like, don't touch anything. I think like just relax and enjoy the view. The truth about aviation school is it is fun. Yeah, because when you get there, you get to meet different pilots from different countries coming together to get this license. Because what we get as pilots is the license. You have different kind of licenses. So it was really fun. The difficult part of it was the studying aspect, because unlike other schools where you see pass mark was was about 45% here for a P, and A1 starts from about 70-75%. But in aviation school, I realized that the pass mark there was like 75%. So the catch about this is that if you get 74.9 in an exam, it's automatically failed. So there's nothing like excellent, good, very good, fail, pass. It's passed in green, bold letters, and fail in small letter red. In flight school, I started with the popular ones that most people fly. That was the Cessna 172, which is a single engine. I flew the Cessna 172. I flew the 150, which was a smaller variation of the Cessna. I flew the 180 retractable landing gears. I flew the Tomahawk. It's like a baby aircraft, very small, takes just 2 passengers. I flew the Twin Comanche, which is a twin engine and piston engine. Then for jets, the first jet I flew was the 145, which takes about 50 passengers. It's just a small regional jet. And currently now, like I said earlier, I'm flying the Echo 195. It's a bigger variation, actually the biggest plane produced by the Embraer so far for commercial purposes. The Embraer 195. It takes about 124 passengers based on your passenger configuration setting. Let me show you what the cockpit overview looks like on the 145 and the 90. So I just have like a mop-up, a cockpit mop-up here that you could just, just walk it through. So over here,
so you flew this first?
Yeah. So this happens to be the 145, the Embraer 145, and this is a senior brother here, or more like the uncle. Yeah. This is the 19. It's actually 190/195. Yeah. Or you could say the 190 second edition.
So why do we have so many buttons on the aircraft in the cockpit and you guys don't get confused? How?
Well, the first you should realize that there are so many systems here, and they are ably represented by each of these buttons and knobs and switches you have here. This first section here covers the electric aspect of the aircraft. Then this red here represents the fire system. So the fire system of the aircraft is represented here. Then here you have the, what's it called now? You have the power plant, the igniters of the aircraft. And these guys here that look like yellow and black, it happens to be what you call the start-stop selectors. This happens to be the key to starting the aircraft. So you want to start the aircraft, this is what you just turn it on and it gets started. Yeah, you're thinking that like normal conventional key. Yeah. So over here you have the hydraulic system. So this takes care of the hydraulic system. Over here talks about the anti-ice protection system. So whenever you experience ice flying, this system takes care of it. Then the air conditioning system called the pneumatic panel is represented here by the air conditioner. So this whole panel happens to be the pneumatic panel, the anti-ice and the air condition system here. And over here, this switches here deals with the light. Then like every moving object, you have window wipers. So this happens to be the window wipers. So this just talks about, this covers a lot of systems here. Over here you have the circuit breakers for this particular stuff. There are so many of them. Each of them represents some of this stuff.
First time flying solo, what was it like?
Well, solo. Well, it was just like an ordinary day. I flew with my instructor. We just did what they call circuit. So circuit is like a racetrack kind of pattern you do overhead the airfield. So we just did a couple of circuits and we landed. And we taxied towards the tower, and the instructor, his name was Baron Peters, told me that, okay, it's time for you to go solo.
Was it like, wow, this was the moment I've been waiting for, or you got to all and I was like, man, I'm ready for this shit.
You'll be getting all kinds of vibes, like, okay, finally, because it was like a progress to your training, like, okay, you have reached this level. It means that you're progressing really well. Okay, finally, because some guys take forever to get solo. Some guys get it faster. So it depends on how your instructor sees that you are confident with the aircraft. So once he came back from the aircraft and told me that, okay, I should just take off, do a couple of circuits, like 3 circuits, then come back and land, and we are done for the day. So when he came out, I was shaking. I was like, let's start. Like, for example, in your car, you can just enter your car now and just at your discretion, just start the car and just start moving. But in aviation, before you start and need the engine of your aircraft, you must start from your tower, the air traffic controller, ATC, before you start the aircraft. You can't just, because now you're inside the aircraft, you just start the aircraft. So to collect start set, I would just keep it like, what the heck? So I mustered the car, just took a QP, collected starts. They claimed me to taxi to the holding point for engine run up, because we do engine run up at a particular point before they clear you to line up and take off. So I did all those stuff. I was on the wrong way. I turned to my right, the chair was empty. I looked back.
But you only the one in the plane, yeah.
And guess how old I was when I was doing that? Just take a guess.
Let's say 1921.
I was 16.
Man, really?
I was 16. So I was like, okay. My instructor is now here.
So
let's do this.
You're not even 18 before flying?
I wasn't. 18 was actually when I finished. I actually finished at 16 years. I started at 16 years, finished at 18 years. So yeah.
Wow.
So full power they call it throttle, full throttle. Like I was speeding, it got to this point where we rotate because before we lift off from the ground, there's a particular speed. It's called the VR speed. The VR speed happens to be the speed at which the aircraft amount enough thrust to lift off from the ground. So if we lift off before your VR, the aircraft will lift the hit back the ground because it does not have enough momentum to sustain the flight. So once I got to my V1 speed and I pulled out by pulling back the elevator back, that the flight yoke, it felt really light because I was used to having a 76, 78 kg extra weight on the aircraft, but now it was really light. Like I could feel the stuff coming to me. I was like, okay. The next thing was like, I don't know what to do next. Like, what am I to do? Like, I froze for a minute. Then something just told me that, Omo, no crash this aircraft too. All the whole Nigerians when they come here, none of them don't crash. Man. Let it not be like Williams for the first guy that he went solo and he crashed. So now I can do this. Age is not a barrier. I can do this. Just put myself back. God just helped me. I took off. I did the circuits. I was coordinated. I came back. Then we do what they call touch and go. So touch and go. The aircraft comes on the wrong way. It lands. Then as it lands, the gears are down. It puts full power. Then takes off again. So it's called touch and you go. So it's not like you land, bring the aircraft to a stop and vacate the wrong way. It's you just come, you touch down, you take off. So I did that like twice. Then I did a full stop and I came back. Now when I just came back, I just poured water on my body. Congratulations! You went so. I was also wet, water everywhere, and just something like that's every young pilot's dream. Like when you go solo, they pour you water, they take you pictures. You're like, now you feel like a solo pilot now.
Amidst all of these buttons in the cockpit, how do you navigate? Because there's nothing like Google Map or there's the nearest bus stop. I know okay, after this bus stop, this is the nearest bus stop. So how do you guys navigate? Okay, we're going from Lagos to Ghana. How do we go from Lagos to Ghana? Just know, okay, when I got through this side, now this side, I've got through after this side, I've got through this side. How does that whole magic happen?
Okay, let me show you something. It's what we call what's it called now? Waypoints. So waypoint helps pilots to easy navigate around each route. For example, there was my flight to Accra today.
Okay.
So if you look at this orange beacon now represents where we currently are.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have the two runways we have here in Lagos. You have the one at left. You have the one at right. So if you zoom out a bit, you'll see different lines with numbers on them. So those are called the airways.
Okay.
For example, now you have this airway here. It's called UL433. But in aviation terminology, we use uniform Lima 433.
Okay. You use the military alphabet.
Yeah, we use it a lot. So that's Alpha, Bravo, Charlie,
Delta, Echo, and first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from Lagos, each departure from an aerodrome starts from the aerodrome's VOR. So for example, Lagos now, you start your route from Lagos. So you take off using Lagos VOR. On that air route, that airway, it lists you, since I'm going out of Nigeria, there's going to be an exit point out of Nigeria. And so I'm going towards the west. The exit point towards the west is called Porto. That's this guy here, Porto. Okay. So Porto is the first airway. So when I take off, Lima Alpha Golf, my next heading will be Porto. So what heading will lead me to Porto? So in Lagos, the heading is about 275. So heading 275 will lead you to Porto. If I have a compass here, compass, okay, I don't have a compass. But if I had a compass, it will show that this heading is actually 275. So from Porto, the next airway on the Lima 433 airway is Tango Yankee Echo. So this is over here, Cotonou. So still on that airway, since I'm going to Accra, the next waypoint from Tango Yankee Echo, to give me a heading towards Monos. Monos is Benin Republic. From Monos, to lead me to Lumen. From Lumen, that next waypoint on Lumen is Ketat. Now, Ketat happens to be the exit point of Lumen and the entry point into Accra.
Okay, this is just like from one point to another
exactly.
point, from this point to another, and you don't miss those points.
You don't miss those points. But what can happen is that if you are flying and there's weather on that heading towards where you're going to, you can deviate left or right. So you could call air traffic controller that, for example, want to deviate left due weather or due weather build up. Then ATC now will clear you. Okay, clear deviation, let's say 5 nautical miles off track or on a heading XXX, call clear of weather. So when you're clear of weather, they will redirect you back to the next waypoint. So for example, if you are flying from Porto to Tango Yankee Echo and on this heading there is weather, so what can happen is that you can let's say you want to deviate right, so you deviate right and fly like this. So once around this point you are clear of weather and
then you go back to the point.
Exactly. Then the straight line direct to Tango Yankee Echo. Then you continue your whole stop.
So there are no moments where you just feel you can fly free.
No. Every deviation you make airborne must be approved by the air traffic controller. It's part of your LO. So if you violate that, you are violating your LO, and there are sanctions.
Your license is at stake.
Your license and a lot of penalties. They'll fine you. You'll find your company, and your company no get joy. Will fine you. So it's just good airmanship that you just ensure that you keep a two-way communication with the air traffic controller. Every action you want to do that is outside the standard stuff, you just inform them and they grant you permission to do it.
As a pilot, how many countries have you flown into?
I flew within South Africa because I trained there. Within South Africa, I flew to different cities, they call it provinces there. In Nigeria, I've flown to virtually everywhere in Nigeria too. I've been to Sierra Leone, I've been to Dakar, I've been to Accra, I've been to Roberts, that's Moravia, I've been to Douala. Yeah, I think that's about. So mostly around just Africa region.
So the view in the cockpit, I think that is actually the best seat on air. Yes or yes?
Yeah. Well, we're true because you're the hem of affairs.
So now, the view is always crazy. What has been your best or your the most memorable experience you've had, or the most memorable sight you've seen at the cockpit?
Sunset and sunrise.
Wow.
Yeah, when you see the sun.
What does it look like? what does it look like?
The sunset looks sunset. It looks really nice. Like when you see the sun breaking out from the cloud, everywhere is a little bit yellowish like that. It's really nice.
And it's in between one sky and another.
Exactly, and you see it big like that. It's really nice.
Because sometimes we the passengers don't get to see that.
Because you guys passengers mostly are restrained to just a window side, but we have the whole view, 180 view, 180 view, and it's really nice. Then sunset, when the sun is going down, the nightfall is coming.
Well, I'm actually also a pilot.
Yeah. So what are you piloting now?
Yeah, I fly my cinematic drone. Yes, I've flown about 1,000 above sea level. Yeah, I'm a pilot. Very soon I'll be approaching the captain level.
I always wanted to fly drone. Like drone is really nice.
No, I'll teach you that. I'll teach you.
Oh, okay.
Man, I'm a pilot as well. So I heard you guys still go back to school. You guys still go back to aviation school every 6 months to take other courses. What are those courses? Why didn't you go back?
Well, it's not like aviation school like that. It's more like a training facility. So it's called a recurrent training. So a recurrent training is done every 6 months, like you said, but it's mostly for emergency, for abnormal situations. Because every day you take off, your flight goes smoothly. Every day happens to be like a normal flying day for you. So what if something happens? You have an engine failure or you have electric failure. You may think that you know what to do, but sometimes because you don't get to experience it every day, you start forgetting it.
Okay.
So the recurrent training happens to be a training that just tries to put you in that scenario. You're about to take off, you lose an engine, or you're about to land, you lose an engine, or you're about to take off, you lose 2 engines. So how do you manage the situation? And the simulator happens to be the next thing to a real aircraft. Like if you get into a simulator, it gives you this feeling that you are in the real cockpit. You won't even know that it's just that in your mind later on, you know that okay, you can see me there.
Before you get to being a captain?
Well, that varies by company. Some companies say that okay, once you hit like 2,500 hours, they can give you command. They call it command. If you get 3,000 hours, they can give you command. But the standard is once you have a block time of 1,500 hours with your ATPL. That happens to be your.
What's ATPL?
ATPL is the captain exam. It's called the Air Transport Pilot License, ATPL. So once you get that license with your 1,500 hours, you are eligible to become a captain. But that does not mean they automatically make you a captain. So that rests now on the airline you're working for. So the airline and the insurance company can say that no, because of the aircraft are flying, we don't want someone you want 1,500 hours. You feel like you don't have the experience enough to command an aircraft. So we'll peg it at times 2, let's say 3,000, or some will say 3,500, or some will say 4,000. So it depends on the company. So once you get to that 3,000 hours or 3,500, and there's a need for the company to have a captain, an extra captain, then they will upgrade you.
You've flown over 1,000 flight hours.
Yeah.
So what's like the accurate number of flight time?
Flight time is like 1,170 thereabouts.
Okay, so very soon we should be a captain, right?
Yeah.
So on air, why do you guys tell us to always put up our phone? Yes, honestly, I'm one of the bad eggs. I don't usually put up.
Why? So now you cause the problem every day.
So what are the problems? Let me know now. That is because sometimes I might put it on flight mode, but I don't turn it out totally. Why are you guys telling us to always put up our phone? Why?
What do you think?
Well, probably messes with the server or something. Does it?
What server?
I don't know. So why do people tell us to? If it does not fiddle with anything, why?
Okay, well, the major reason why we turn off our phones while
you guys turn your phone off too?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the reason why we do that and why we tell people to turn off your phone is the communications. Whenever you are transmitting on radio and your phone is sending out signals, it causes a kind of squashing sound. For example, now if you are listening to an FM stereo now and you make a call around that particular radio, that kind of scratchy sound. As a pilot, you want to hear what the traffic controller is saying, and there's so many other people talking about the radio, so you don't want one sound to be interfering with your radio communication, and you are just please Lagos Tower, say again for Nigeria's Alpha Bravo Charlie or stuff like that. So you want to just try to minimize as much as possible. That's why the flight mode is there. Flight mode.
So it's better when I have it on flight mode rather than switching it off.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Have you flown dignitaries or notable personalities?
Daily now, a lot.
Just me.
Well, I've flown the current First Lady of Nigeria. As Her Excellency, yeah. I flew her. I flew the Vice President's wife too. So it was a chartered flight. They were together. I've not flown the presidential, but I've flown one of the aspirants to Peter Obi. I've flown him several times. I've flown Obi Kubana. I've flown Clergis. I've flown. I've flown so many people. Just that you just keep forgetting them. I've flown one of my senior mentor, Frank Edwards, like back to back. I've flown so many people. And one day too, I'll fly you too.
So that's what I'm saying now. So whenever you're flying, try to listen to whatever the pilot is saying and watch out for very soon to be Captain Williams Anaka. Here. Now, honestly, when I was much younger, I used to have this. I don't know, but I still believe it up till date. What kind of petrol does the engine of a plane runs on? Now, the person told me it's a mix of normal petrol and kerosene in the plane. So I'm asking you because till now, till this very moment, I still keep that in my head. So I'm asking you now, what kind of fuel does the plane run on?
Okay. Well,
please don't tell me that's a lie.
Well, it's partially 50% true because we put kerosene here. Yeah, so we use kerosene.
Wow.
Yeah.
Majorly kerosene.
Yeah, but in aviation is not called kerosene. It's called jet A1 fuel. Yeah, jet A1. We use jet A1 fuel for the jet aircraft. Then for the piston engines, the smaller ones, we use what they call avgas. In flight school, they we use avgas. It's a little bit thicker than the normal jet A1 fuel. So why they use the jet A1 fuel for general flying aviation rather than avgas? Because avgas is thicker.
Okay.
So you can imagine an aircraft, like the aircraft I fly now, will take about what's it called now? Over 13,800 liters of fuel. So you try your possible best to have the lightest viscosity of fuel you can carry.
So that it still doesn't amount to the kind of much weight you are carrying.
Exactly, because aircraft all about weight. So the lighter the aircraft is, the more passengers you can carry, the more payload you can carry.
In the plane, we hear something like, this is your fucking shit. What is that? This is your man, like calm down. So what are those things you guys say really? What are those things?
Well, it depends on the phase of flight and what information the pilot is trying to pass out. Meanwhile, I've seen so many videos like that. People are just trying to imitate pilots that they put them back in the mud down.
Really, well, that's always what it looks like because we hardly hear. We just hear probably the key was here, seat belt here, landing here. Yes, what is here? That's the catchphrases here. So many things are gone.
Yeah.
So many things are gone. But what are you guys really saying? Let's know.
Well, for cruise, so we just first of all introduce ourselves again and thank them for choosing to fly with you and give them the flight estimate for landing and the kind of weather they will experience while coming into land, the temperature they have on ground, the destination, the visibility, the kind of cloud they will descend into. Then you sometimes tell them how many track miles. So let's just give you a briefing. So I'll use Nigeria Alpha Bravo Charlie. So ABC. So I'll just come on the PA, that's the public address system. I'll say distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board Nigeria Alpha Bravo Charlie. From the flight deck, my name is Captain Williams. Currently now we're maintaining a flight level of 380, that's 38,000 feet above main sea level. We are showing about 150 nautical miles to our Tambo International Airport. We have established to a contact tower and we expect to be on ground by 5 minutes past the hour, 2 o'clock local time. The temperature on ground is reported 31 degrees Celsius. Visibility is over 10 kilometers. Our descent into South Africa will be a little bit bumpy. So for any reason the seatbelt sign comes on, we advise you to stay seated and fasten your seatbelt. Looking after in the cabin, then you talk about the cabin. Looking after in the cabin are one of our finest team led by Montage. So, looking after you is one of our finest team led by Montage and his team or her team are there to ensure you have a pleasant experience with us. If there's anything they could do within their professional capacity to make your flight much enjoyable, please call upon them and they will assist you. On behalf of Captain AC and the entire crew, we welcome you on board and we thank you for your continuous patronage for Nigeria Alpha Bravo Charlie. Do hope to see you on board our flight again and have a wonderful stay in Johannesburg, and for those traveling beyond, we wish you journey mercies. Thank you for listening and see you on ground. And that's all.
If you not talk like this, you're not go die. But honestly, you putting me through
the journey. I enjoyed it. To me, it's like a performance, but on earth it is different. This is your captain. This is the multitude. Want to altitude over the sea. Calm down.